Hey everybody, Ian Campbell here with Mission Suite. This is day 9 of my 20-day Facebook Live video challenge. It's been a lot of fun. Sometimes I'm surprised at how long I've actually been able to get these things done for. I sometimes never thought that I would actually stick with it even to day 9, so I'm pretty stoked that I'm here. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about what I call the consultant's dilemma. The consultant's dilemma is something that we've all been through. Anybody who's providing services to, whether they're business services, personal services, whatever, when you as a consultant, you go out and you work and you work and you work and you do a ton of business development, and you finally get a client and you're stoked because now all of a sudden you got some money coming in. That's great, but the problem with that is that now all of a sudden you're trying to do such a great job with that client for that client, so that you get a great referral out of it, that you stop actually paying attention to your own business and to your own marketing and business development efforts that got you that client in the first place. This makes sense. It's natural because again, we all, especially those of us in business and clients, definitely kind of crave approval and crave that good job, if you will, but it's also detrimental because that urge to do a good job for our client, whether it's for ourselves or whether it's truly altruistic, can be pretty dangerous. Because again, if you don't keep the machine running, then the machine can't serve anybody, right? It's kind of like the kind of who watches the watchers or who cares for the caretakers mentality, right? I mean, if you're not actually taking care of your own business, then your business is not going to be able to serve anybody. So how do we as consultants, because I spent, 17 years as a consultant, right? So how do we as consultants overcome the consultant's dilemma? How do we make sure that everything keeps working, that we're able to continue to develop business even when we don't have the time to go and do all the biz dev activities that we used to do when we were looking for that first new client or that 50th new client or that 100th new client? But still, again, you go through the same roller coaster, the up and the down, the up and the down, right? So how do we address that? Kind of get off that roller coaster cycle of business development. And that's where automation comes in. Now, I've talked a lot about this in the past, of course, and but what I didn't realize before, and something that I wish I knew a long time ago when I was doing a lot more consulting, was that automation can really do a great job at addressing that consultant's dilemma. Because imagine this, you go to a networking event, because think about it, even when we're not doing biz dev per se, we're not in sales mode because we're in client mode, we're still out there meeting people, we're talking to people, we're still going to the happy hours and showing up to the networking meetings and the breakfasts and everything like that. So it's not like we ever completely drop out of marketing or business development. We just stop paying as much attention to it as we could, right? So imagine you go to that networking event. You go to let's say you go to a networking breakfast and you sit at a table of 10 people. So those 10 people, you get 10, all 10 business cards, and each one of them, maybe there's 3 that you talked about the potential of getting together again with, or maybe that you've been able to identify them as a solid business lead, or maybe there's 5 of them that you didn't talk too much about, but they seem to fit your profile. Fit your profile. Excuse me. And then of course there's a couple that are just kind of miss the boat altogether, right? They're just not your people, and that's fine too. So after you go back, and instead of having to sit down and actually write out follow-up emails to all 10 people saying, hey, it was great to meet you, and then requesting whatever you want to request afterwards, instead of having to do that, that takes 5 minutes per contact, right? So when you, and with 10 people, that's 50 minutes, which isn't a lot of time when you're not swamped with work, when you don't have a big project that you're working on or anything like that. But when you're in the middle of something and you're trying to get stuff done, taking almost an hour out of your day to get that stuff done and to manage that follow-up, even when it's beneficial for yourself, it happens every time. And don't tell me that it doesn't, because I can be sure that every single one of you watching this has looked at your desk at one point in time and said, my God, how did that stack of business cards get so high? Right? And the reason is that every single time you go back and you say, oh, here's the people that I want to follow up with from that event, I'll do it later. And then later comes and you're hanging out with your wife, or maybe you're going for a hike with your husband, or whatever, hanging out with the kids, t-ball practice, myriad things that can come up and distract you from all of that, right? And so what are you going to do? How are you going to make it happen, right? But if you don't do it, you're not going to continue to grow your business, and you're going to end up in that roller coaster cycle. So get off the roller coaster. Automate the follow-up, because, for example, when I come home from a networking event, I sit down on my computer, I pull out the 10 business cards that I got, and I fill out my form in Mission Suite, and I say that I met them at the Chamber Commerce event, or I met them at Firestorm, or whatever, right? And then I say what my follow-up is. And maybe it's, we talked about getting together again, or we didn't talk about getting together again, but I want to. Or the gentle blow-off. Hey, it's great to meet you. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Let me know what kind of connections I can make. Those types of things, when instead of taking 5 minutes to respond to every person, you've got a preset email. You can enter in you can customize it with what you enter into to that new contact form. But then when you hit save and submit, or save and close, then immediately thereafter they get sent an email that says, "Hey, great to meet you. We talked about getting together again. What's your calendar look like on Tuesday or Thursday? Right? Got breakfast or coffee open? What about you?" And then 3 days later, I get a phone call saying, "Hey, Ian, if you haven't heard back from this person, call them." Because business development and sales isn't overwhelming when it's 2, 3, 4 calls a day. Business development and sales is overwhelming when you're looking at a stack of business cards, 50 cards high, that you're like, God, there's money in there somewhere, but I don't remember any of these people, so I'm just going to toss them and start over anyway, right? So, and again, we've all done it, right? So it's not just you, it's not just me, it's not just the guy down the hall. We've all done it, and we're all guilty of it, because it's such an easy trap to fall into. Because why am I going to do the tedious follow-up work when I can actually get my job done and get myself closer to the dollar? But if you don't get the tedious follow-up stuff done, you're never going to be close to another dollar again. So anyway, make sure you're following up with people and automate your follow-up, people, because that's how you're going to get off that roller coaster cycle of business development. There's more things that comment, share down there. I hope that my phone just rang, and so hopefully that didn't break off my my talking here. But anyway, like, comment, share. There's a great webinar that I did that talks a lot about getting off of this roller coaster cycle of business development. I'll link to that in the notes here in the status update, so that it's on our website under resources. So that's there for you. So definitely go check it out and do all those things. Check out themissionsuite.com. There's going to be some great resources for you there too. And in the meantime, have a great weekend, and I will see you again on Monday. Cheers.